So I'm going to do something a little bit different here today. This is something that I came across from another YouTube channel, Guns and Gadgets. That channel has kind of turned into just a 2A related news type channel where just anything that's happening somewhere that's of interest, he tells everybody about there. And this is something that he came across and put out on his channel. I'm going to link to his video in my description so you can find your way back to his channel because he does a lot of good stuff there, and I do want to give him credit for pointing this out. So what we found here are the results of a poll that were done through UT Tyler and the Dallas Morning News, and this is basically about if Texans want various types of gun control. And I think this is something that may start getting quoted because of what the results ended up looking like there. But the first one here is just kind of a rather large, vague question here. Do you agree or disagree that elected officials are doing enough to prevent mass shootings? And you'll see that it's skewed just a little bit to the disagree side there. But we'll look at some of the others here and we'll see it skewing very differently. On a question about background checks, you see that it shows 65% strongly supporting background checks for everyone that's a potential buyer, with there not being a lot of opposition on that, the way that it's asked with the question here. About red flag laws, we see it not be quite as strongly supported, but it shows there that according to this poll that Texans are very much wanting the red flag laws. Now, as far as high capacity ammunition clips, basically there being a 10 round limit on it, you can see that that still shows pretty strongly there, but not as much as some of the others. As far as the sale of assault weapons, we're seeing that be an even smaller amount there, but still skewed on the support side. And finally, for assault weapon buyback program, we can see that this one is maybe just a tick over on the support side, but well, so according to all of these results here, it looks like the Texans just want to punt away all of their Second Amendment freedoms. Well, I think that the way some of these questions are phrased is very much leading to a particular answer with a lot of people. I'll go over all these. As far as the background checks for gun buyers question, do you support or oppose requiring background checks for all potential gun buyers? I think when most people look at this here and look at require background checks for all potential buyers, they're thinking of somebody going into a store, whether that be an academy or a local gun shop or a pawn shop, and buying a gun there. What I don't think that they're thinking about is just a sale from one person to another of their gun. Basically, Chuck buys a new hunting rifle. Bobby always liked his old hunting rifle. He decides, hey, Bobby might want to buy my old one, and he sells it to Bobby. I don't think most Texans would be against that, and that's probably not what they're thinking of. And the reason that this is misleading is because if you're going to a store, you already have to go through a background check to buy from a dealer. And actually, if you're buying from a dealer, even at a gun show, you already have to go through that. So I think what most of the 65% on here is thinking of is something that's already covered by existing laws. As for the red flag laws, do you support or oppose a law allowing law enforcement to take away guns from people a judge deems dangerous? This one is showing, almost completely some sort of agreement on there with very little opposition. But the thing that is concerning about the red flag laws are two potential things in there. Number one, just bypassing due process, to where basically the judge can agree to it and they can basically just come and take yours without you ever having any input in it or anything there. And I get that the concern is to get it away from someone that's dangerous, but that kind of leads into the second part to where this is going to be horribly, horribly misused. And we've seen in states that have already enacted these that they have been misused. Basically, somebody gets mad at their ex, calls in like, oh, he's being crazy, he's making threats and stuff, and he has a bunch of guns. Well, they go, and that's completely made up bull crap, but they show up anyway and take all the guns, and they're like, raid the house in the middle of the night. I mean, it's not like a knock on the door like, hello, would you like to give us your guns? We need to take them from you, thank you. No, I mean, they're going to raid the house. And it could just go sideways from somebody not knowing who it is that's banging on their door. I mean, that could be anybody just trying to bust down your door. You don't know they're cops. There's just a lot of room for this to hurt as many or more people as it ends up helping. For high-capacity ammunition clips, do you support or oppose a nationwide ban on high-capacity ammunition clips with more than 10 bullets? All right, well, first of all, they clearly don't know what a clip or a magazine is, and using terms like bullets to refer to the rounds that are in there. We know what they're talking about, okay, just they're using the wrong terminology, but, you know, I'll go ahead and let that slide. Well, in this one, you're looking at a large portion of firearms that are out there now have magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. And we're talking about if you have a handgun that you have bought for self-protection, and your handgun's not a revolver, then it's going to have a magazine on it. And that magazine, I mean, there's probably, depending on what you've bought there, a 50-50 shot that thing may have more than 10 rounds in it there, just a normal pistol that you're buying there. This is not like crazy things to have more than 10 rounds. Your regular Glock, like the most common Glock that you can buy, has 16 rounds plus one in the chamber. And the question is, why? Okay, why 10? What is the reason for 10? Where did this number 10 come from? Has it just been pulled out of the ether? Did we get it from a grand oracle somewhere? But really, the 10 round limit is just not really accomplishing anything as quickly as people can reload. It's kind of moot, really. Next one, for banning the sale of assault weapons. Would you support or oppose a nationwide ban on the sale of assault weapons? Well, the first thing to start with is, what is an assault weapon? And that is not a very well-defined term. What some people try to classify as an assault weapon, what others try to classify it as, can vary. And so another thing that goes into the term assault weapon being vague and undefined is that people think something very different when they hear it. Most people hear assault weapon and they think of something that, fully automatic that just sprays out a bunch of bullets when you pull the trigger down. Well, full auto weapons are already, any of them after 1984 are illegal, and any made before that are really heavily regulated. So there doesn't need to be anything done for those. Those are already taken care of. And the other thing that nobody wants to talk about, because everybody thinks that you're trying to devalue lives when you do this, and that we're talking about just putting down lives, the numbers. Assault weapons, or whatever we want to call them, do not make up much of gun deaths every year at all. It is a tiny, tiny portion of it. The vast majority of gun deaths are from handguns, and that's going to be mainly gang-related stuff and suicides. So why are we going after this a little bit here just because it's flashy and gets a lot of attention when it happens? Gang members, they go around killing each other every day. We don't even notice anymore when it happens. Oh, and people kill themselves every day, so unless it's somebody famous, we don't pay attention to it. Okay, you want to talk about devaluing lives, that we got all these other people out here killing each other, and we just completely flat ignore it and don't even pay attention to it. Unless it's just like regular people at a store somewhere. Suddenly now we pay attention to it. You get the gang-related crime as well as suicides. Get those taken out of there. And the whole thing goes way down as far as the number of gun deaths. And the last one here is assault weapons buyback program. Now this one, as you saw, barely skewed into the support side and was almost evenly split there, and I think it's legitimately like in the margin of error. Okay, I mean, a buyback program, well, they call it a buyback. How can you buy back something that wasn't ever yours? Government didn't ever own that. It was never theirs. They can't buy it back. Also, I mean, talking about the government buying back our guns, and we want to, like, do, all these checks and everything on people that are buying it, and I'm pretty sure that, the potential buyer of these guns has, a history of violence and racism and a lot of crazy stuff. So I don't know if we really want, them buying these guns back. Okay, that's a little bit of humor there, but really, this is just a waste of money there. Okay, almost nobody shows up and turns their own guns in because the amount of money that they are giving for guns is like piddly. Nobody's going to turn their own stuff in for that. Now, you'll steal someone else's guns and turn in stolen guns. I mean, they'll go break into my house and try to get my guns and take those there. That's just a complete waste of money and time on everybody there. Well, not the most dangerous thing on here, probably the most idiotic thing out of all of these would be a gun buyback program. So the main reason I brought this up is just to let everyone know that this poll has happened here and that they've kind of not given a lot of information and been able to skew answers over to the side that they want it at so that they could go use this and flash these numbers around for gun control. But this is going to be another step that they're going to try to do there to bring in all that stuff that they're doing everywhere else. And we need to be aware of it now because they're going to try to start doing it now so that you can let your local state legislators know about this. Get what their opinions are on it. Talk to all of them. Those state legislators are much more likely to show up at stuff near your house when it's election time. So, show up to those things and try to ask them about this and let them know what you think about it. Don't let them just give our rights away because of bad information that makes them think that people want this. And before I end this video, I want to let everyone know about a couple of public hearings that will be going on in Austin that may be of interest to a lot of us. Two in particular that we want to try to get a lot of people to. One of them is going to be on March 10th. That is going to be a hearing about potential gun control. One thing specifically that we know will be discussed on that is going to be requiring background checks for private gun sales. What's generally called as universal background check. There'll be some other things discussed there, but we don't know exactly what all of them are going to be. We'll also have another one on February 26th. That one's going to be different in that it's not going to be about potential gun control, but about what type of gun legislation could be passed that would actually help protect our rights. Both of these, there's a chance for the public to be able to show up. There'll be a chance for you to make a statement there or to present a written statement there as well. One organization that's getting involved in getting everyone there is the Gun Owners of America. The more and more I see GOA doing stuff, the more and more I really like these guys. I'm going to try to get to one of these two events, probably the March one, just because the February one's coming up a little too soon for me to be able to pull that. But everyone else is welcome to do it. There's some Facebook groups about these on there, and I will put links to both of those in the description. So if you found this video useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. You can leave comments down in the comment section and let me know anything that you thought about it. You can also subscribe to my channel to make sure that you catch all the videos that I post and not miss anything. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.